Good morning to all. Happy to note that you're taking some time off to listen to today's topic. Let me just share the screen. I will be using a set of slides to help me. Yeah, is it visible, please? Are the slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, I don't know if you people can chat, put it in the chat box. How many people have heard about mental models? If you can't put in the chat box, you can just switch on the microphone and say yes, no, whatever. So that I don't do too much of basics. Go ahead, please. No. Good. Thank you, Mrs. Sudhakar. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody who is aware of mental models so that we can dive to the topic? I take it as a no. Let's continue. Okay. Yeah. So I will begin by telling what are mental models. Okay. Then we will be looking at 4 mental models. And yes, people like surprises, so I have a bonus. And of course, we'll do a summary of the entire topic. And as entrepreneurs, we have ideas, we have products, we have services which we want to take to market. I use the word technology for certain context, but you can substitute with a product or a service there. Okay, it's not just about technology. You can talk of it as go-to-market issues. Okay, first we need to get clear of what are mental models. Okay, at any point of time you have a question, please just switch on your microphone and ask me. I will like it that way. Okay, don't keep it till last, etc. Okay, so mental models, what are they? First, it's just a representation. Like a map is not a territory. A map represents a territory. When you go to a restaurant, the menu card represents the food you want to eat. Menu card is not the food, right? Or a map is not the area. It just indicates something and it's useful to you for that. Okay, these are approximates. No map is very clear. If they say biryani, it could be many variants of biryani. Like that, these are approximations. Okay, they may be imperfect, but they are useful. A mental model may be imperfect, yet they are useful. Okay, because something is very complex, like you go to a new city in Delhi or Bombay or any other town, knowing the roads and knowing the systems may be complex. But when you have a map, it makes it easy. Okay, when you have a menu card, you can choose, okay, I like this, I don't like this, today I want a difference, whatever. It simplifies basically. Okay, they're thinking tools. That is the way to use. Okay, they make life simple to understand. They help you take a decision. They help you solve a problem. So mental models are basically tools that you use. There's no one tool that is final. Depending on the context, on the situation, you choose one or more tool which you believe will make a difference. Would this be clear? Shall we start explaining the models? You could just chat up yes, no. If you have a doubt, please ask at this stage. Okay, the first mental model is the Gartner's hype cycle, we say. A senior management consultant by name Gartner developed this. I forget his first name, I'll tell you in a little while. But also the professor went on to set up a company by the name itself. Okay, so we draw the hype cycle, Gartner's hype cycle for many, many industries. Now, if you take the x-axis to be time, okay, and how much visibility is any technology you take, goes through this hype cycle. Okay, the curves may be a little varying, but it is this, which first, there's a huge amount of visibility. Everybody is talking about it. Any guesses as what is the technology in talk right now, which is most visible?
AI.
Absolutely. AI, ML, everybody is talking. 3 years ago, everybody was talking blockchain or cryptocurrency. Okay. And much before that, everybody was talking of cloud services. And much before that, somebody was talking of .coms. Okay, but then once it reaches a peak of inflated expectations, suddenly goes down through a trough of disillusionment. Everybody thinks this is no use, nothing will come out of it, it's a waste of time, etc. etc. Today, nobody, I mean, just the other day, I was in a workshop where they said blockchain is a solution waiting to find a problem. They're totally disillusioned about what can happen with a blockchain. They don't know what they can do. They understand blockchain very well. They know how to use it or code it, but they don't know what to solve the problem with it. It goes through a trough of disillusionment. Then slowly, over time, as time goes, somebody will find out one way of using it. Okay, this is slope of enlightenment. Okay, blockchain can be used for this, cryptocurrency can be used for this, AIML can be used for this, and then it reaches a plateau of productivity. Then it gets clear as to a set of people will say it is useful for me, and a set will say it doesn't concern me, I'm not going to look at it. Any technology, it could be medical field, it could be education, it could be whatever. And if you just Google out, please, that's what I invite you to do. This was for 22. I have not updated the slide to have for 23 or 24. Okay, Gartner publishes this kind of a curve where they say which technology is the innovation trigger, peak of inflated expectations, trough of disillusionment, slope of enlightenment, plateau of productivity. This is the term they use. NFT, blockchain, if you look currently, and they give you industry wise. So I told you mental models are useful. Now, how would you use this mental model, please? Any thoughts? Knowing that technology goes through this cycle over time. Any suggestions? Any thoughts? When is the best time to raise money, please? Obviously, on the upward slope when the peak of expectation is happening. You just need to put .com to your name, they were getting money. You just need to say AIML, everybody's getting money now. At some point of time, if you just said that I'm connecting farmer and consumer, you would get money. But if you try to raise money when you're on the downward slope, going through the trough of disillusionment, you think you'll be able to raise money? People will laugh at you and ignore you. Just this morning, I was sitting with somebody who wanted to do an agri-tech startup where he will advise farmers. Try telling that today. Nobody will give you money if you're trying to do that. Once again, when you're back to slope of enlightenment, they will consider giving you money. They'll ask you some more questions, provided they have understood the subject, etc. Then it comes. So this curve can be helpful. There are many other ways. I'm just giving you one example so that you understand of when to raise money. In this sector, today AIML is fashion. You just say, I know AIML, you show a little that you know something, and you say, I need money to hire more people. Oh boy, they'll give you money when you say, I don't know everything and I need money to hire people. Okay, but be careful. After raising money, you will go through trough of disillusionment. That's not the best thing, smartest decision to have taken. You are going to go through losses where they won't give you money and you'll go through a lot of pain. I know hundreds of startups who raise money. The ideal time to raise your money is in slope of enlightenment. If you're playing a startup game, it is not while there is a inflated expectation. But if you want to ride a wave, this is the wave you should be riding, and you will raise a lot of money, enough money for your grandchildren also. Okay. Is it time? Can we move on to the second mental model? Unless you have questions, please. Okay. So the second model is what we call as crossing the chasm. Okay. This was a mental model created by Jeffrey Moore. That's the name of a person. Please, for each of this, go back to Google. Please take your pen and paper, write down notes so that, I mean, in 1 hour, I can't introduce everything to you. Okay, just listen out carefully and later absorb. You can also look out for a book by Diana Kander, All in a Startup. Okay, that's the name of the book. Of course, Jeffrey Moore also has written by the same Crossing the Chasm book. Okay, Diana Kander is a more applied version of it, but essentially the model is same. Again, if x-axis is number of people who are adopting the technology, okay, or say y-axis is number of people adopting technology, and let's say over time, x-axis being time. Okay, first, only the innovators adopt technology. Okay, there are always people who are looking for something new, something different, etc. And generally, as a thumb rule, lot of research they have said they are just 2.5% of the market. When the first car came, it was not the regular businessman who was driving a car. When the first flights happened, it was not the business class going in the flights. Okay, when something is new, only innovators take it. They're a very different class of people. Okay, they just want to do something new. So never believe that if you have one customer, two customers, three customers for a product, that you already have traction and you're ready to raise funds and whatever. Okay, you have to go beyond to the visionaries. Typically are about 13.5% of the market. Okay, now they may go up by 0.5% or 1% or whatever, but generally these numbers hold. Don't ask me how you got it. You have to read the books to understand all the research that went into coming these numbers, but largely we accepted that they are the way it is. Okay. Visionaries are people who know how to use it and who have followed the innovator, and they are the early adopters. Okay, but then this is the chasm, this is the gap. Many people, many startups come. This is where the integrated curve of expectation comes. Okay, until here, when visionaries start using it, everybody says, "Wow, wow, 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 great! Everything is going to be on the internet. AI/ML will solve everything. .com will solve everything. Direct to customer will solve everything." Okay, but then this is where the trough of disillusionment starts in the chasm. If you survive through, reach out to the pragmatists. Pragmatists are people who are practical. They know how to use it. They build and develop something. Okay, so they account for about 34% of a typical market. Okay, if you are able to survive, if you are able to steadily deliver value for them, conservatives will come in, or the late majority. They are 34% of the market. There's somebody called skeptics and laggards. No matter what happens, don't use your innovation. Don't bother about all these people. What you should be bothered about as a startup is really surviving this chasm. Why? Just a handful, one-digit number out of 100 startups will survive. Less than 9% are startups survive. They die in this chasm where they have not realized something. Okay, the way to use this curve is really understand your go-to-market efforts, you're burning the money, etc. Don't believe this curve and these people. There are infinite visionaries who will adopt your product. Your go-to-market study should understand that if you want to reach pragmatists, your language changes, your approach changes, your budgets change, your value features change. It is not the same. Giving something to visionary or an early adopter, innovator, is not difficult. They will take it. That doesn't mean the world will accept your innovation. Okay. Again, any questions at this stage, or we'll take it at last? Okay. I'll move to the third model, mental model. Very important to understand this model, please. It helps you. This model is now understood for 30 years. If you're able to read these books and understand how this works, you'll design a strategy to survive this chasm. All the technologies are today technology only because they cross the chasm. So just because there's a chasm doesn't mean you should not work on that. Now here's the third mental model, please. I call it as value harvesting. Now this is something that I have built out of my experience. This you will not find in any textbook. Okay, this is my experience. People have ideas and they're curious. And they believe that if they work on their idea diligently, somebody will give them money and they will be successful and they'll be able to build a business out of it. And they'll make a brand like Coca-Cola or Nike or Amazon or Flipkart or Udan or Zepto or whatever else, and they'll make lots of money. Okay. Now, like I have visualized the circles, there's a huge gap between these two. Very important to you to understand what is the gap between these two. Why this one are fair. Not every idea becomes a good business. Good ideas are good ideas. They're not good businesses. Anybody wants to have a question about this? Okay, so this is the journey your idea has to go through. If it does not go through this journey, I'm sorry, you're dreaming. you're wishful thinking, or you're waiting for a happy accident where you'll fall in love with accidentally. Doesn't work that way, please. Okay, so sorry. Uh, so let's look at each of these circles in between. See, if you want to be a good brand like Zoho, like Coca-Cola, like McDonald's, like Nike, like Xerox, like Nvidia, whatever else, okay, you need to, before you become such a brand, you need to have a very strong product or service. Without a strong product or service, you're not going to be a good brand at all, please. Stop fooling yourself that if you have a weak product or a weak service, you can still build a big brand. You can spend a lot of money on advertising, but you're not going to be a strong brand. Only when you have a strong product which is very distinct in the market, very unique in the market, will it become a strong brand. If you're a Me Too product, you're not going to be a strong brand. You will not make a lot of money. Simple. I don't think that should be debated. For you to be a strong product or for you to have a strong service, you obviously must have some significant technology differentiator in that. You can't be a strong product if you don't have a good technology. For a good technology, you need to have good science of that technology. We unfortunately use the word science and technology together. Science and technology are two different things. Don't please use the two words together. Technology comes after the science is matured. And for you to be good at science, you should obviously have some curiosity and have an idea with you. This is a sequence. Just because you have an idea, you can't leapfrog or pole vault or jump straight to a brand. This journey is non-negotiable. Actually, why people don't take it, let me go through the other side of the curve. I came from the far end of it, I came back to the source of it. Now, this time, let me do journey this way. Okay. I mean, everybody has ideas. Huh? Ideas are not worth of any value. When Apple was falling, must have happened 1,000 times, but it took a Newton to understand the science out of it. Ideas are ideas. Don't think you'll make money on ideas. You need to understand the science of what you're talking. Now, also, let me come back and say, science is pretty useless. It's good for a scientist. Huh? It doesn't make money. Apple was falling down doesn't mean Newton was able to make a rocket. Science is pretty useless. It's good for a scientist to sit in the lab with the microscope and or the white coat and or test tubes and glasses and whatever else, and it doesn't work that way. You can write a research paper at the end of science. When you put time, money, effort, and energy behind a science, you end up having a technology on hand. A technology is more predictable, more useful. Science is not. When people understood the technology of action and reaction, they could design weaponry, they could design rockets to go to space, they could design engines. Science does not make useful products. Technology makes useful products. Look at what technology you develop with the idea that you have, which you put through science, and you come with the technology. Now, I mean, even technology, whatever you perfect it to time, let's say during the Second World War, they perfected the technology of launching rockets. But ISRO as a service or SpaceX as a service or the European Satellite Agency as a service came only when they could productize it. You understand the difference between technology and a product? Product has an identity, product has a use, a purpose, more useful. Technology is more generic, can be used in many places. Action and reaction can be used in many places, not just rockets. If you took a gun or a rifle, there's a trigger, there's a trigger mechanism which will fire it. Also has action and reaction. How you use it is very flexible in technology, but a product or service has a very definite structure and way in which it is used. It, of course, uses deep technology in that. The more you put time, money, effort, and energy behind a product, it becomes a brand. Today, if you say you're SpaceX, why would people give money to Elon Musk? And how many space tech startups we are having in India? They're creating their own brands, right? So it's a long journey. If you're not willing to go through this journey, You're not creating a big brand. Electric cars were known 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Elon Musk didn't do something new. But he developed the science of batteries. He developed the technology of batteries. He mapped onto that the technology of, uh, you know, uh, driverless navigation. Then he made it into a product. And today he's a brand that makes money. You have ideas to change the world. Please see how you can take this through this, sequence this through phases, how you can travel through that. I'd be happy to talk to you on one case. These are lessons I learned across my journey as an entrepreneur. The hard way around, you don't find this in any books. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So just a little addition to here. How do you move from one phase to another phase? When you have an idea, what you need to be doing is imagine it. Imagine the techno-commercial possibility of that. Yes, if there is something called an action reaction, if there is something called as a nanoparticle, if there is something called as a biofertilizer, if there's something called as freeze drying of it, how can I use it? Techno-commercial imagination is what you're doing in stage one. Once you have a techno-commercial understanding of it, you believe there's a market for it, you come to a program like in the Coffee Board for incubation. You take your grant here, we help you incubate, like an egg has to be incubated before it hatches. We give you a convenient environment where it succeeds and or fails. But ideally, the intention here is to succeed. But whether you succeed or you fail is actually your call. It is the egg's call, not the environment. We provide you an idea where you can move to the next stage. Use the money to go ahead and demonstrate your product to people. What you're doing in stage 3 when you have a technology is to go and demonstrate it to people. When you're imagining, you're doing work in your head. When you're incubating, when you have the science of it, please bring it to the Coffee Board. We will sit with you. We'll look at your idea. We'll help you develop thoughts about it, business models around it. Many aspects of business development will give you there. Thereafter, use all that, use the grant that you will get here, move on to demonstrating the technology to other stakeholders. The world should believe in you. We selected you, we believe in you. We believe gravity works, so we kind of give you money. But building a rocket is the demonstration you will do. At this stage, you're still not kind of bombing exactly a certain target, but at least you're showing that it will take off, that it will be stable, that it will not fall down back and kill us itself. You're doing demonstration. Okay, then you raise your seed fund and whatever else, then you move on to promote the product that you have done. Then you raise more money to sustain and be in the business. For you to go through these things, there are some 7 bridges that you're building, some bridges. Okay, first of the bridge that you're working, really, when at the stage of moving from imagining your idea to incubating your idea, work to generate interest and find the endorsement of some people. I told you, most often I met many startups. When you have an idea, the first people to laugh at your idea is your family members. You talk of changing the world and they laugh at you. So go and talk to people who have the interest and who will endorse your idea and move on. Okay. Second, when you're moving from incubation to demonstration, the work you're doing is about generating the resources for demonstration, the grant money or the references that you get here or the network you build here. You're going and demonstrating this. Okay. Then once you're demonstrated and the world knows you're working on this and they've seen some way of how it's useful, okay, go to the market players and talk, because in the market, people are already solving their problems. Now they need to know that you have a better solution. That's what we mean by engaging with market constituents. Last of all, you build assets to deliver your product at scale to many more customers. That's how you sustain in the market. These are essential bridges you should know. Happy to take one-on-one specific case studies later at the end, please. I hope you've gotten a little complex model. This is the 4th complex mental model, please. I told you 4 mental models. This is it. This comes along with the business model canvas many of you would have heard. If you work with business model canvas, there is also something called the value canvas. Okay, it helps you go to market easily. Use this canvas. There's a whole book by the same authors who wrote business model canvas. Okay, the value canvas book is written. You can study. Also, Google, Baba will teach you a lot of things. Make an effort and go through, please. What it involves really is this. You begin by looking at the customer. Okay. When you look at the customer, what you got to map first thing that you believe at extreme right corner, okay, is find out what are the jobs the customer is doing. Obviously, if he's doing something, he's getting something. That's why he's doing. He has a gains. When he does that, please find out what are the gains he's getting. Obviously, nobody does something just like that for nothing. If it's getting up early, they get up early because when you go to the market early to buy your vegetables, you get a bargain price. You do something only because you have gains. Please list out for each task that they do, what are the gains they are getting. Also, you don't get any gain without pain. List out all the pains that they go through in doing their job. First, complete the circle. Okay, sit down with a paper and pen, take an A3 size printout of this map. It's available on the net. Read the book, complete the circle first. Then you come back to the left-hand side, which is then you work on the product or service. How do you work on the product or service? Yet don't start writing about this. Okay, there's a discipline to use this canvas and go through this. List out all the pain relievers that your product is going to have. People pay you for relieving a pain. They don't pay you for gain creators. People are happy taking an anacin. In this country, we sell more headache tablets than we sell Chyawanprash. Chyawanprash gets you good health, but nobody buys Chyawanprash. But tell Saridon, tell Anacin, tell whatever pain reliever, they'll buy. Map out for each of the gain, what is the gain creator? Find for each of the pain, what is the pain reliever? Build all that into your product or service. That's how you build value for your customers. When you have delivered a value which helps the customer do his job, he will pay you some money for it. Get this mental model? Okay. So, 4 models I've covered. I have one last bonus for you, but before I do that, I want to take a pause. I will stop here and would like to take some questions or understandings and come back once again, please. Any questions about using mental models and whatever? Please unmute yourself. Yeah. For what you're working on, what would be your gain creators, pain creators, in which part of the slope Gartner cycle you would be, or how you're dealing with the gap, or you want to know what is the science you're working on. Everybody is waiting for somebody else to start. Anybody wants to volunteer, please? It could be a question, it could be a sharing. Look, it's not necessary that you have a question. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, if you want to share something, please unmute yourself and share what you're going through. I get worried when I don't hear anything from that side. Are people listening or are just they logged in? Okay, I take it you don't want to yet ask questions, so let me just complete the presentation. We would go through some more things. I'll just get back to the slides, please. Sorry. Where is that? One sec. Yeah. Yes, let me go down to the slide and just have a few slides, please. Okay, this is the one I want to cover. Yeah. Okay, we talked of creating value for the customer. We talk of building value. We talked about people paying you money. Okay, so if you don't understand what is value, you're not going to work through. Now, with your silence, I don't know how I would deliver this slide. Probably the most important thing of what I wanted to share with you. Okay, which is a question: who creates value? really, I need you to answer this, please, in the chat box if you don't want to speak. Who creates the value? In you and your customer, who creates the value? You as a startup, as an individual, or as a startup, as a company, and the customer or the market, whichever way you want to talk it. Who creates the value?
So being an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs should create a value and deliver the product or service, whatever it is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will just reply. Thanks for sharing and taking the lead. It makes a difference to me when people participate. Shreyas is saying, there's a startup, create the value and you will get the value. Okay. That's why I was talking about mental models. And I'm saying both of you are not really accurate or complete, or what would I say? That way of thinking is limiting. Like I told you, look, there's no right or wrong answers. Okay, so don't listen to me like you're wrong. But I would say that way of thinking, saying as entrepreneurs and startup, we create value, is limiting and is not the best thing. Okay, customer creates the value using your idea or your tool or your business or your service. Customer creates a value. If the customer is not creating a value, he will not pay you. Most entrepreneurs struggle in the market because they think they've created something great. They think their creation is valuable. I'm not saying no, I'm not arguing with you. But please understand, in your way of thinking, when customer creates value, he will pay you naturally. And that too will pay naturally when he created value because of you. He was creating value even without you. When he creates more value because of your innovation, he will happily pay you. Questions, comments? Yeah. Anybody else wants to share something? Dr. Sudhakar? Mr. Sudhakar, sorry, I missed.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand?
got it. Yeah, got it. That's clear. That's clear.
Yeah. So it's a way of thinking. It's a way of thinking.
Hi,
which helps
hi,
you to-
Jagdish. This is Jay Kumar. Long time.
Hey, hi, Jay Kumar. Thank you so much.
Some of the definitions also talks about what customer benefit is realized beyond what he pays for. Is also a
Yes.
value definition. In the sense, you might offer a capability, but how he converts that capability to a top line or a bottom line also is value unlocking, right?
Absolutely. But please remember, in your way of thinking, the mental model to use is very clear. He creates value, and obviously he should recognize it. If he's not recognizing, I mean, it's as good as not creating the value. Okay. And his creating value should be because of your innovation. That's when he naturally pays you. Otherwise, you're constantly struggling and I tell him, look, I did this for you, give me some money. He's not going to talk to you unless he believes he created value out of your innovation. At that stage, you are really in a position to negotiate with him, right, Jaykumar? You can tell you created a value of 100 rupees. Why you're giving me only 10 rupees? Give me 20.
Yeah, I mean that's where new commercial models also come around, right? Where
Absolutely.
you put a risk.
Beautiful.
Percentage of his revenue as a model, or what value you create, and you want to share a risk reward model and all. That's where the commercial innovation comes also, where you are giving the customer an advantage which gives him a market advantage for a specific duration possibly, but
Yeah.
there's a lot to do on how he takes advantage of it. Like he has to put the right products at the right price in the market, but with your capability, he might commercialize it much faster, grab the customer faster, whatever. But you're right. So commercial model innovation comes because of the value we can unlock.
Precisely. Sharp language. I really appreciate that. Okay. But so long as he's not experiencing that value and he's not acknowledging it, you are not in a position to charge him for that.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So the understanding, see, I meet a lot of startups, they believe they're working on great ideas and they are working on great ideas. But they struggle in the market. They don't cross the chasm. They suffer in the valley of disillusionment because their mental thinking is, I am creating something great. I'm creating a great .com website which will generate revenue. I'm tracking eyeballs. Customer is not getting the benefit there, huh? When you are in the peak of expectations, when you are with early innovators and adopters, you are stuck in creating the value. In the chasm, it's very clear customer is not experiencing the value, hence is not paying you for it. Okay. Thanks, please. Okay, we can take a discussion in a little while. Okay. Next very important question. Let's stick to the word value itself. How do you know the value of this so-called value? I mean, is it valued at 100 rupees? Is it valued at 1000 rupees? Is it valued at 10 rupees? How do you know that?
That's demand and supply.
No.
Like value is more like there is more demand, the value.
No, you'll drink the same coffee in Starbucks and pay 300 bucks for a cup of coffee. At Cafe Coffee Day, you'll pay 150 bucks. In MTR, you'll pay 30 rupees. And in the street side cafe, you'll pay 10 rupees.
It's a brand. We're paying for the brand.
Whatever. Whatever. Let's not talk of value. Sorry, we're supposed to be talking of value. I'm saying the value that the customer experiences, there is worth 300 rupees. Here is 150 rupees. Here is 30 rupees. And here is 10 rupees. So value, can you fix something and say this is the value of what I have created? How do you know it? What I have created, I made a coffee. How do I know whether it's worth 300 rupees or 150 rupees or 30 rupees or 10 rupees?
I mean, for existing businesses, possibly you have to look at competitive information and get some benchmark on how you differentiate and what is the base price and how your product compares or capability service compares. But for a brand new innovation, which probably nobody else has done or is done in the Western world, not done here or whatever, there I think one of the ways is to look at what potentially in monetary terms the business can take advantage of this and then take a percentage of it and probably potentially you have to journey through with the customer. You may
Yeah.
not get the right value price initially because there'll be skepticism from both sides on whether it's going to work or not, but at least you have a benchmark on seeing what the potential value you can unlock eventually. So
Brilliant.
somewhere if it all works out, possibly you can go and renegotiate the whole thing, right?
Precisely. There's a very important mental model behind this. Okay, it's a journey. You don't know. You don't know if the coffee I'm creating is worth 300 rupees or 10 rupees. Okay, like you rightly said, I should check out what happens in a Starbucks settings, what happens in a third wave settings, what happens in a Cafe Coffee Day setting, what happens in MTR setting, and whatever. Okay, it's a journey. But please remember this important thing, it's totally subjective. People will sit in Starbucks, have that coffee, scold Starbucks, and get up and go saying, I'll not come back again here. People will sit in Starbucks, have that coffee, and say, I'm going to come back here.
Even difficult journey could be where you might have to teach the consumer or the business on what he can unlock with what you have, right? Like, I mean, educate people on coffee. I mean, coffee drinking is a bit of a now connoisseur's market versus what offers at 12 rupees, right? So you might have to create that opportunity yourself along with the market, I feel sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, for me in this slide, it's a very deep takeaway. And whatever else is this, dance with the customer. He knows the value. Don't delude yourself about what you think is value. It may be worth 1,000 bucks. It may be worth 300 bucks. It may be whatever. Dance with the customer. Dance with the customer. Dance with the customer. Only then you will know the value. There is no other way of knowing what is the value. Think about it. I don't think we should listen, but happy to take on some questions at this side before I read through the conclusion slides. I hope these mental models are usable to you. Go back, read some more. Okay. Happy to take questions, please. Or I'll do the conclusion, then we'll take the questions. Okay. Now look at most ideas. Okay. It could be the idea of internet. It could be the idea of e-commerce. It could be the idea of blockchain. It could be the idea of AI/ML. It could be the whatever you take. It takes about 30 years to become a cultural habit. That's when it's big money. Until then, it's not. Which is why people keep spending money. Investors are very sharp. Investing is done by people who have lots of money and don't mind losing some. You have big dreams, be ready for a 30-year journey. Okay. Many people believe technology drives change. And I want to challenge, and I'm going on record here by saying technology does not drive change. It's collectively how we people use the technology which is going to drive the change. Many people should use the technology for their own benefit. That's when it appears that technology is causing the change. No, technology by itself is like any other technology. When people use it to create value, to unlock value, that's when we credit the technology for the success it created. Thank you. Questions, please. Some discussions. Okay, I have some more slides. I'll just run you through that just because we have a little more time. I think I was a little fast in my delivery here. Okay, so this is a classic picture I picked up. Okay, the president of the Michigan Savings Bank in 1901 had said, I mean, the car or the automobile is a nice novelty, but I'm going to go by my horse. Okay, similarly, when Edison invented the electric bulb, they've had such boards in the rooms wherever electric bulb was placed. People tried to search for a candle and a matchstick when they got into a room. They did not know the concept of an electric bulb. They had to do a lot of teaching and learning. Today, everybody normally assumes that there should be a switch somewhere on the wall. You go into a room, you'll touch the wall center, search for a light switch. But there's one time when you had to tell people, that you won't hear the crackling sound of a lamp. You don't find the soot of it. This is a thing you can use bulb. You have to teach them. Okay. If you go to Belur Halebid, you'll find this stone. 5,000 years ago, somebody has imagined this kind of scooty. Today, in many countries, you find this going around. Go to Dubai, you see companies selling this, and the equivalents of this being Yulu and whatever else. Basic modifications of this, where short rides you can take this and go and solve your problems. Did it take 5,000 years to create this product? Think about it. Did it take 5,000 years to create this product? And yes, one of my favorites. Jaykumar, I'll request you to read, and or Praveen, somebody please.
Happy to do that, yeah. So it says there will be no escape in future from telephones. The telephone of the future. Mark Sullivan, San Francisco president and director of the Pacific Telephone and Telephone, said in an address, just what form the future telephone will take is, of course, pure speculation. Here's my prophecy. In this final development, the telephone will be carried about by the individual, perhaps as we carry a watch today. It possibly will require no dial or equivalent, and I think the users will be able to see each other if they want, as they talk. Who knows, but what it may actually translate from one language to another. When was this date, I guess? Oh, April 53, Bob.
April 11th, 1953.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay. In 1953, they imagined that the phone would end up like an Apple iPhone. And or the Samsung new AI phone that's coming.
Yeah, I'm not sure what neural networks this guy had to imagine this.
But that's what it takes for you to create.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And that's the patience and perseverance you should have. And please remember, all those wonderful ideas you have may not happen in your lifetime. But God, wouldn't you like to be the known person, to be known as a person in 1953 who foresaw the smartphone?
Amazing, yeah.
He was more amazing than Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so another slide, just read it up, please. Rapid technology commercialization is a recent phenomena. For roughly 99% of world history, 99% of humanity was poor, hungry, dirty, afraid, stupid, sick, and ugly. I mean, humanity has been around for a couple of thousand years, right? At least recorded history. The modern world we know is less than 300 years old. Even 100 years ago, you did not have electricity. You did not, 50 years ago, we did not have electricity in India. You didn't have access to the modern medicines. You didn't have this bar of soap until 150 years ago or 200 years ago. You didn't have access to the printing press. You didn't read books. You didn't have cosmetics. Less than 300 years ago, all these came into the market. But in the last 200 years, all of this has changed. In just a fraction of time that our species has clocked on this planet, billions of us are suddenly rich, well-nourished, clean, safe, smart, healthy, and occasionally even beautiful. We didn't have a mirror, mind you. Forget about cosmetics. Where 95%, 94% of the world population still lived in extreme poverty in 1820. By 1981, that percentage dropped to 44%. And if you look now, it's less than 10%. If this trend is to continue, extreme poverty that has been abiding future of life will soon be eradicated for good. There will be no poverty. Even those who still call poor actually are enjoying a much better life. So really, technology commercial is a new subject. Not many people have understood what goes through it. And I mean, I congratulate you people for being on this journey where you're doing something unique and different. You are working to change the world when people are wondering what happened and why the world has changed. Okay, so that's my presentation for today. Happy to take questions. Anybody wants to share their journey, wants me to kind of listen out to what you're going through thinking.
I have a question, Jagdish. One is, I think classic businesses have taken probably 2-3 decades to really establish itself, like the Tatas and Reliance and all that. But the startups have a different connotation. I mean, it's got its own kind of a characteristic, undefined, probably imagined and subscribed to with no clear definition as such. So I was just wanting to know profitability focus versus value focus, right? So a lot of startups, as you said, many fail.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a battle all of us go through, right? On when do you start focusing purely on profitability? I mean, it's not two things you can look at separately. But then there is a phase you create value. There's a phase you want to make money out of it, and you continuously create value. So I was just wondering, in your experience on with the startups, uh, how does this play out? I mean, a part of the failures are because of, I think, this confusion between having the patience to go through this journey of
Yeah.
figuring out which one of the profitable and the value characters is important at some point in time.
Good question. Thanks. I really appreciate Kumar, Jay Kumar. You have heard me many times and you still come back. That validates something for me. Okay. Thank you so much for participating and asking these questions, because not just for you, I know it's opening up things for other people also, and makes me also think. Because I have not come prepared with it, but here's what I would share out of my experience. Two thought process need to be mature when you are asking the question as to when do we start seeing profits, or when do you start taking money that I can take home. Okay.
Yeah.
First part to know is really, look, get on your an idea as to how long and you want to run in this journey. You want to run fast, make money out of the investors.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have time, if you have patience, and you believe that you're going to live another 30, 40, 50 years, make money out of your customer.
Okay.
If
That's
you
a
are
good.
giving yourself a 1 year, 2 year runway, make money out of the investor. Customer will not give you money in that time.
That's a
But
good way of
obviously, VC
looking.
funds will not look at you if you are looking at 2 year exit. They will ask at
Mm.
least for a 10-year existence.
Yeah.
A rare white hat
It's-
junior exited in 18 months with 300 crores.
Mm.
But he had a lot of pedigree to him to come to that. It just didn't come. Okay. So I would say anywhere between less than 7 years, look
Yeah.
at VC funds.
Yeah, I think that should be the norm. I think a lot of startups should be taught that it takes time because,
Hmm.
I mean, what you see on TV and reality TV and all is not actually what a startup is, right?
Absolutely.
Somebody wins in
Hey
music,
guys,
even
yeah,
they
there you
might
go.
have worked hard for 10 years, right? That's
Absolutely.
shown, right? So,
Absolutely.
thank you for that. Yeah, one more
Yeah.
thing is I'm quite amused with this convenience-based business startups, right? Where peop- I mean, I don't know if value can be set, price points can be set, or whatever, but
Hmm.
disposable income can be directed towards satisfying a convenience,
Yeah.
basically, like the Blinkits and
And the Zepto and
those and all of that, right? So,
obviously,
uh, I mean, it's quite traditional technology being used there, but it's just a gap in the market, which, if you look at it, might be counterproductive to driving more sedentary lifestyles, and hence
yeah,
some other startup will make money on the health and other things possibly.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
this convenience economics is also interesting. Yeah,
So please sit on the Gartner's hype cycle and see that there will be a phase when it is kind of the in thing. Everybody believes in 10 minutes, if you serve something, the world will start buying from you. Okay. You're going to go through the trough of disillusionment.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Place it through a different business model. The innovators and the early adopters are using that,
Yeah,
but the pragmatists are still not using that.
correct. Yeah,
Okay. Look through a different business model. Sorry, 1 second.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
Participants, the speaker is having some technical issue. If you have any doubt, you can post it in chat box. So the speaker will inform you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, my system reboot. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We
So,
can hear.
yeah, Jaikumar, thank you so much. I got interrupted. Sorry, you have to remind me where we were speaking.
Sorry, what is it? Repeat.
Participants, any questions?
Sorry, I got rebooted.
If you have any questions, please ask.
I missed out what I was speaking.
It's okay. No, I was just talking about the convenience
Yeah.
based business models. Yeah.
They will go to a state of maturity where in urban areas, people need that
Yeah.
convenience. As the families get nuclear,
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
You need that. But if the families are going to be joint families and whatever, they're not going to adopt to such things.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are certain social factors.
Yeah.
But
And
about
it
making money,
actually-
frankly, what you need to understand is really the aspect of time.
Yeah. Correct. Timing.
Okay. Without that, you're really fighting a game with investors for valuation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anybody else, please? I'm not able to switch on my camera, but I hope that's okay. I'm here. If you're through, maybe we should wind up, Praveen.
Yes, sir. So if there are no questions from other participants, we can end today's session. So I thank all the participants for sparing their valuable time to attend this insightful session. And I also thank Jagdish Sunkat sir to come here and share his experience, and also the case studies were really interesting. And I suggest all the participants to visit our official website. So we conduct a lot of programs that help aspiring entrepreneurs and also established startups who are interested to work in the coffee sector. And we are going to have our pre-incubation program next batch starting from 12th February. And the details are already available in our official website. And also our team is going to share the link in the chat box also. So you can download the brochure, and if it is interested to you can please join this. And also on February 10th, which falls on Saturday, we are conducting a networking meeting for startups and consultants related to coffee and agri sector in our Atal Incubation Center, which is located in
I think Praveen had an issue now.
It's not.
industries. And I thank everyone.
Okay. Thank you so much. Please do keep in touch. Otherwise, offline also. Jaikumar, happy to meet you again. Okay, we
Sure.
should catch up.
Thanks. Nice to hear you and look at the insights which you have.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Praveen. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.